Hi, I'm Rob the accountant. I'm also a Democrat running for the Democratic nomination to stop the campaigns of Joe Biden, Donald Trump, or really any candidate telling us what to ingest, how to live, or what to look like. In that regard, that's going very poorly, which is good because I feel at the end of the day, this is really a dry run for 4 years down the road. What I would like to do right now is wish everybody a happy 2024. And I would like to invite you on this continued journey. I'm going to talk about a couple of the current events relative to the presidential race tonight. I'd like to go through some things on that. And then at the end, I'd like to invite you, because tax season is here, to a live stream that will be going on Monday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. And you can log in, you can throw some questions, you're having some problems with some of your tax people wherever you're living. We can have those discussions. I won't get really into actual people's individual tax problems, but it'd be a good situation if you just want some extra information and just want to talk to somebody else. So let's jump in this tonight. So one of the things that, I have said consistently from day one is that I still don't know what Trump has done. I watched the whole speech on January 6th. While it was going on, I don't know. It just was amusing to me. It was no different than Obama railing for health care or Bill Clinton railing for gun legislation. It was over the top. But one of the things that wasn't there was the president telling 1,300 people. And again, let's talk about that because I've been asking people lately. Well, it's great to say that everybody on the Republican side is utterly crazy, right? That's the narrative. But there's 1,300 people. So you got to take 1,300 people and you have to divide it into 350 million people. It's not even a percent. It's laughable. And so we don't talk about that. But on January 6th, Donald Trump was the president of the United States. There's just really no disputing this. And the question then becomes, does the executive in his capacity, did he stretch it? And he deployed the executive branch to a level that most Americans have never seen, right? But at the end of the day, Joe Biden became president, right? And 91 felonies. 91 felonies. How does anybody in America with half a brain in their brain, I said it, half a brain, just justify that, okay? And when you look at the last two elections, the one where Trump beat Hillary by about 15,000 votes, and the one where Biden beat Trump by about 15,000 votes, it's just wrong to continue to push this narrative that Donald Trump is the threat to democracy when what we actually have today is Joe Biden actually doing things that are stopping democracy. Whether Joe wants to admit it or not, a lot of people are just not really comfortable with his age and his number two. Me personally, I don't think she's about me. That's my thing. She always seemed to be by herself, about herself. So that's her position. But I don't think the country as a whole is ready to see the number two become number one. So you can hate me for that position, and you could revoke my black card. I'm actually from Puerto Rico, so I have, we have more of a beef right now with the U.S. government than, I think other people do. But that's just my point of view. But we should still talk about why Trump is being made a martyr, and how the Democratic Party as a whole disregards half the nation. Half the nations, I believe 27 states, maybe 29 states are Republican states. We're not talking about fringe groups here. There's Democrats and there's Republicans. And so when we come over to this, we look at the fact that the Supreme Court intends to hear the ballot case, which again, what do we want, people? What do you want? Do you want a government that every time you piss them off, they deploy the resources of the government against you? Is that what we're asking for? I mean, we watch all these dystopian movies and crazy stuff where governments take mass control and the people are fighting for freedom. And here we are, jumping right in to that same position. And it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't believe Donald Trump has committed any crimes. I believe his idea of what he believes is right and fair is, a little bit clouded, but it's his right. It is his right to be able to do that. So let's talk about Joe Biden. So we come over to NPR and, you can go and read the articles. You don't have to accept anyone's interpretation of what's going on. But Biden says the fight for democracy is the heart of his 2024 rematch, right? That's what he says. But he's the one trying to kick Donald Trump off the ballot. And you come over here and the Democratic Party is blasting the New Hampshire Democratic Party for having a meaningless primary. Think about that. A political party in the United States of America going after one of the original states, the one that most live free or die. Isn't that the New Hampshire way? And the Democratic National Committee scolded New Hampshire Democrats for selecting delegates for the state's unsanctioned primary. But I thought Trump was the threat to democracy. I thought Trump was the one that was going to overturn everything. Everybody said that Trump was going to be the one that started all the wars, but we have 4 wars going on, and they all started under Biden's watch. Nobody talks about that. There's no peace. The Defense Department's budget is flying through the roof, and we're going to get to a little bit about that too, because we talk about that when Trump was in office, if one of his secretaries went missing for a week and didn't report to the president, it would be the end of the world. We'd have to invoke the 25th Amendment, right? That's what we'd have to do. And so what happens here is people think that I'm a Republican or a Trump supporter. I'm actually a conservative Democrat, and I believe in the law. My whole life, the law was bullied and persecuted against a whole race of brown people in this country. There were no exceptions to the law. There's never been exceptions to the law to brown people. And here we have what is happening to a candidate who really has done nothing wrong being persecuted. And so now it lends justification to all that other persecution that everybody's always known has been going on. And to sit here and say it hasn't gone on, or it wasn't going on, or it wasn't a reflection of the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, super predators, gun laws, cocaine laws, sex laws. There's always some set of laws to trip up brown people in the United States of America. That always has been. So when you say that you're for freedom and you're for democracy, then that's what you should be for. And here, the Democratic Party has closed down the primaries of a presidential primary. If you're confident in your game plan, if you're confident in your ability to go out and win with the American people, then you should have your open primaries. You get up on the stage against a whole bunch of people 20, 30 years younger than you, and you show the world why your wisdom is what we need going forward, right? But that's not what the Biden does. That's not what the Democrats do. Instead, they fire off a letter to the Democratic Party chair warning him that the process has not been approved. Not approved? People, not approved? Heart of the democracy? Trump? Not approved? New Hampshire? They can't vote. They can't have their primary. And then Iowa. And then Joe Biden wants to jump into South Carolina because, it's not just about the black vote in the United States of America. It should be about everybody's vote, all parties. And Joe Biden once again shows why he just seems to be more racist than anybody else, because everything he does is just right there and open, and nobody calls him on it. And that's why I might stay home. I might vote for Trump. I don't care. I'm not voting for him again. He hasn't done. Gas prices, nothing has been cheap in 3 years. We're giving all this money away to Ukraine and everybody else. And they're not even talking about the corruption that the generals in Ukraine, there's money missing all over the place. And nobody talks about it. Money missing there. But where's that money missing? Is it coming back over here? Nobody talks about this stuff. It's just a big spin. All of Congress, they just keep going and investing and investing. And it's weird. Some of the dumbest people enter Congress with zero net worth, and suddenly they come out as intellectual geniuses, and nobody says nothing. Nobody complains about this stuff. And this is why people put their hope in a false prophet like Trump, because he promises them something he can't deliver. He's part of the problem. So Joe Biden, he needs to look at not making New Hampshire Democrats be the party of no. Just let them be. Let them do what they're going to do. Go talk to them. I don't see the big problem. So, this is the big thing in the room with Trump in the Supreme Court. I think I've called it from day one that I don't think the Supreme Court wants to choose the election. I don't think they wanted to choose the election of Al Gore and George Bush. But Florida got into that whole Chad, what is a Chad? What is not a vote? What is a vote? Sort of like the COVID mail-in votes, when you overwhelm the system. Maybe we should just declare presidential holiday for a national holiday for the president to be voted on. And everyone gets the day off, and the employer pays for everyone to have the day off. Just seems pretty simple in that. But I think the Supreme Court, I don't know how they rule against Trump. He hasn't been convicted of anything. The ballot case that they're trying to keep him off the ballot for in Colorado is just not applicable in when it was written and the meaning of when it was written. It wasn't meant to disqualify somebody. I also believe that Trump made the argument that he was impeached twice as the president, and the Senate did not find him guilty. So not guilty is acquittal. And in my view, the issue's resolved, and you don't get double jeopardy again, right? He'd be entitled to the same rights and rules that any of us are, right? So I think the Supreme Court's just going to let this go, and that's what they should do. Joe Biden. The secretaries, the cabinet secretaries, are there as a guest of the President of the United States. I love the Secretary of Defense. He's great. I have no problem with him. But this idea that cabinet secretaries could not inform the president, the commander-in-chief, of their incapacitation or their medical problems and allow the commander-in-chief to decide whether there should be a temporary appointment or not, shows you that the upper power of the U.S. government does not report to the executive CEO. And it just seems a little scary with all the wars and all the bombs. And we have that if this was Trump and his defense secretary went out on a rogue mission. Not a rogue mission, sorry, he's sick, but the lack of not being able to inform the president, that's not the chain of command. Is the president of the United States is the chain of command. And that didn't happen. So we know that if that kind of similar situation had with Trump, we're going to invoke the 25th Amendment. And see, this is where we should just be about everyone getting treated the same way. We create all these rules and these intricacies and these loopholes when we just have to say when something's wrong, it's wrong, and when it's right, it's right. And this is wrong, okay? And that it gets buried and doesn't follow up. Well, we're all threatening that Trump's the one that's going to ruin democracy, and he's not even the president right now. It just seems a little cuckoo. So, my word of the day for that is irony. It's just ironic. Mr. Biden says the fight for democracy is the heart of his rematch with Trump, while he blasts the New Hampshire Democrats over their meaningless primary of wanting to vote in the United States of America. Oh, you pesky, stupid little small citizens. Why would you want to vote? Oh, why would you want to choose somebody? Why would you want to have a say in who your leaders are? Oh, fucking novel idea. Sorry. Apologize. I went the whole stupid video without swearing, but it just bothers me. I'm for freedom. Freedom for women, freedom for everybody, freedom from immigrants, freedom from legal immigrants. We just need to change the dynamic. And maybe not today for 2024, but maybe in 2028, when it's open, we can have this discussion again. But right now, we need to decide as a country if what we really want is 5 more years of Trump or Biden. It's just ironic. They're both going to be 80 years old. They're both stuttering. And then let's go on with some more people here, okay? Nikki Haley, okay? Namrata Nikki Haley. I don't know how you can't be proud of your name, but you're gonna go out and you're gonna represent everybody else. At least Vivek has no problem being who he is, and he's going out and trying to convince people with a lot of money of who he is. But it's just one of those things that we don't talk about. Who doesn't want to use their name? Who's scared of their own name? Ron DeSantis is wearing high heels and boots. Chris Christie is just, I mean, how do you get a tummy tuck and then go right back to being unhealthy, right? Like, if you don't have that kind of self-control after the incident for number one, how are you gonna, like, honestly, every single person on the stage is telling you how they're gonna repress you, what you can't do, what you should do, what you should believe, what you shouldn't believe, how you should think. It's tiring. I'm tired of it. I'm not listening anymore. I don't think you guys should listen anymore. But that's where I'm at. Probably end up suspending my campaign here in a couple weeks. I got a few more reports to file, so it's fun. I appreciate it. We'll see. Maybe there's a little bit of hope in New Hampshire. We'll see. Since, the heart of democracy is in New Hampshire because they want to vote. Wow. The defense secretary goes missing in action and doesn't feel necessary to call his boss and tell him he's not going to show for a couple days. Think about that. It's just like, oh, dear Lord. What are you going to do with this stuff? Okay, so I'm Rob the Accountant. I'm also a real Democrat, running for the Democratic nomination to stop the campaigns of Joe Biden, Donald Trump, or really any candidate telling us what to ingest, how to look, or how to live. Taxes are here. And again, Monday through Thursday, Eastern Time, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. I'm hoping right there is a good little lunch break. If you're having lunch and you want to jump on the YouTube and throw a question or something, maybe I can help you out. Maybe I can't. Who knows? But I appreciate it. And this is where the content will be going here until at least March 15th, 2024, when the first deadline for corporate. And the 15th, I didn't even research. If the 15th on the weekend, it'll roll to the next day, but whatever. Around that date. So thanks. Appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.